This video is sponsored by RM Risk Management.
Hello Blues fans and welcome to the final match preview of 2024, where next up for us is a visit from Blackpool, and this is coming off the back of a 2-0 victory against Burton in the league, our 8th victory in a row, the first time we've done that since 1991. Jay Stansford got his 15th goal of the season, scoring from the penalty spot. And then the second half, it was an own goal off the back of a really nice passing move with Williamson putting the ball across, and then a bit of a comedy of errors at the back for Burton, resulting in a second goal for Blues. And although Burton did get in some very dangerous areas, they didn't threaten our goal really, because they didn't have a shot on target and they just got their feet in a bit of a muddle as they were going forward. And next up for us is Blackpool with Steve Bruce as their manager, someone that we know very well at Birmingham, and a team we know quite well because we've already played him this season in the FA Cup, and that was a 2-1 victory against them at Bloomfield Road, with Lyndon Dykes and Lukas Jukovic scoring on that day. And it was a bit of an odd game really, because there was a lot of alterations for that game, and Blackpool in the 90 minutes actually had more possession than us, which is something that hasn't really happened that often this season, where a team has more possession than us. But you'd imagine that St Andrews in the league, with a full strength team out, we will dominate possession and hopefully do what we've done in the past few league games, where we've really controlled the game, not conceded many goals, and in the league it's now only 1 goal conceded in our last 6 games. So getting that defensive shape sorted is something that has come on leaps and bounds really since that Shrewsbury game, where it all kind of went to pot, and now we've got a really strong defence, a back four sorted out regardless of the personnel that's there. We've got a solid shape, and although Krzysztof Klara missed the game, didn't he, against Burton, because he picked up his 5th yellow card against Crawley, the shape still looked really good and settled, and the game wasn't really in much jeopardy, and it was just about being professional and getting the job done. And hopefully we can do that against Blackpool, because Blackpool were a bit further up the league than Burton, being in 15th place, and they lost 2-1 last time out against Wrexham, and Wrexham scored a late penalty courtesy of Stephen Fletcher, a very contentious penalty decision, a bit like the Birmingham game where we had a very contentious penalty decision, but it went our way instead of against us. And prior to that, Blackpool had actually gone on an unbeaten run of 4 games in the league, so they'd picked up a little bit of form, but now they're prepared to face the league leaders. And ahead of the game, we spoke to John from the Seasiders Podcast to get the lowdown on the Blackpool side of things and see what he thinks about Blackpool travelling to Birmingham.
Hi guys, it's John here from the Seasiders Podcast. Just been asked to do a brief piece for our upcoming match, Birmingham versus Blackpool. Fans' overall sentiment and start to the season and thoughts of Steve Bruce as a manager. It's been a very hit and miss season for us. Lost the manager, or sacked the manager, Neil Critchley, within 2 games of the season. That kind of put us on the back foot. Steve Bruce has come in, plays a completely different system to Neil Critchley. Critchley was very much a 3-5-2 man, possession for possession's sake, football, that kind of thing. Whereas Steve Bruce is old school 4-4-2, so a lot of the players don't really fit the system that Steve Bruce wants to play. However, when he came in, we did have the new manager bounce with Steve. To his credit, he got them playing, decent, attractive football. We're playing the right players in the right positions, whereas it was square pegs in round holes. It's now square pegs in square holes, which was good. We went on a good run, 4 wins, a draw, so unbeaten in 5. Great start for Steve, and yeah, everything was looking good. However, obviously the bad news with the tragic news with Steve's grandson, that sort of knocked the train off the rails, as it were. Steve Agnew took charge and we went on a really bad run after that. So I think it was Steve Bruce who had a really positive effect in the manager's hot seat. And when Steve came back, we picked up again. So I think he won, was it 3 in a row? We've just lost to Wrexham on Saturday, 2-1. Although we went ahead early in the game, Wrexham came back and scored an absolute once-in-a-lifetime worldie from Mullin. We had the far better chance in the first half. It wouldn't have been unjust, perhaps, if we were 3-1 up at half-time. Wrexham did come back at us in the second half, a lot of pressure, without really creating much at all in terms of big chances. And I don't know if anyone's seen it, but the absolutely farcical penalty that Wrexham got with 2 minutes from the end. Stephen Fletcher's drilled one against the back of one of our players. It's literally hit his back. Wrexham players have crowded around the referee, a weak referee, and he's given a penalty after about 10 seconds. It was unreal. So yeah, we didn't deserve to lose there. Probably should have got a point. I expect Blackpool to set up against Birmingham, typical 4-4-2. You know what to expect, I guess, having him as your manager in the past. Players to watch. Lee Evans in the middle of the park's our quarterback, our playmaker. Everything seems to rotate through him. He's got a brilliant dead ball delivery as well, so that's how I'd expect us to score, maybe from a set piece or on the break. Another player to watch is Rob Apter, right wing. He has been marked out of a lot of games. He's been a bit of a marked man, given he was League 2 Young Player of the Year last season. On his day, he can be a threat. Finally, score predictions for the game. It's going to be a tough one, obviously. Birmingham, you guys with your resources. Kesh Anderson and Alfie May coming off the bench when we played you in the Cup. I think that says it all, really. Can't see anything other than a Brum win, to be honest. We've tightened up at the back after letting a lot of goals in pre-season, but I think Birmingham will be too strong for Blackpool and it'll be 2-0. All right, cheers, guys. Thanks for your time.
So that was John there from the Seasiders podcast. And in terms of the team news, I reckon the players that were rested for the Burton game will come back into the team for the Blackpool game. So the likes of Paik, maybe May, maybe Keshi Anderson, those guys could come back into the team, and Christoph Clara back from suspension as well. So you'd imagine they'd come back in. The sentimental side of me wants Lyndon Dykes to start up front so he can get that first league goal, but it could be back to the same starting 11 that played against Crawley with the addition of Alex Cochrane instead of Lee Buchanan. But I'm going to go for 1-0 victory for Birmingham. Very professional again, hopefully. I'm sure it's going to be a bit of a battle with Steve Bruce preparing his troops for, well, what's turned out to be the toughest away game of the season, with our home form being really good in the league and unbeaten at home. So hopefully we can follow that on, end 2024 on a good run and start 2025 on an even better run and hopefully get out of League One. So if you like the video, please feel free to like, share and subscribe. Thank you for all your support during this year and keep right on.